name is Stephanie Bussey. This is my boyfriend, Austin. And today we're going to do a little demonstration on paleostratigraphy. So what is paleostratigraphy? Kind of break down that word. Paleo, think of fossils. Paleontology is the study of fossils. And then stratigraphy. Think of the Grand Canyon. All those layers on those canyon walls, those are stratigraphic layers.
Like an onion.
Exactly. Onions have layers. Perfect example. Thank you. So with paleostratigraphy, fossils can be deduced by paleontologists, figure out how old they are. We call that relative dating. It's not going to give you a precise year, but it's going to give you relative to the other fossils in that area. We have some examples of fossils right here. We got Bill and Ted coming at you live. We also have a little turtle skeleton and exoskeleton right here. We also have a turtle hip. And we have a little sea urchin right here coming at you from the ocean. These are some examples of different fossils. We call them index fossils. So index fossils are different fossils that you can find in the layers. You can say, oh, I know that this fossil came from, let's say, the Eocene. So if we find that fossil in a layer, we can say that fossil's from the Eocene. And we're going to go over different layers today. Different layers are not going to be perfect. They're not going to be layered perfectly, like an onion. Unfortunately, not like an onion. So we have...
a cake.
What?
Layers of a cake.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Close, though. So we have different unconformities. We have disconformity, nonconformity, and angular unconformity. So these unconformities are when the layers don't conform. AKA, they're not perfect, they're not straight, they're not like a cake or an onion, the layers are kind of messed up. So I'm going to kind of go over how to remember or how to visualize those different layers today. So, different ingredients we have today. We have Play-Doh right here. Different colors are going to help us to look at the different layers and see what's different. We're also going to have these butter knives. You can also use plastic butter knives. We just have metal ones. These are what we have at the house, so that's what we're using. Not sharp at all. They're just butter knives. Play-Doh is non-toxic, but please do not eat it. And don't stab yourself with a knife or anything. If you are working with kids, if you are a kid, just be safe. Use some common sense. Sound good? Awesome, let's get to it. So this is going to be kind of the earth. If I set down something and set something down on top of it, what's the oldest layer?
No idea.
It's going to be the one on the bottom.
Oh
so
my
if I create my layer right here, my kind of pinkish red layer right here, and then I put my yellow layer on top of it, which one is the oldest layer?
Pink.
Exactly, the pink, and the yellow is going to be
The freshest one.
the freshest, the youngest, the newest,
The best onion.
the best onion. So if I were to find this turtle shell in the pink and this dinosaur in the yellow, which one is younger?
Which one's found in the pink?
The youngest would be the yellow one, so this dinosaur right
so
here
this one, yeah.
would be the youngest. But obviously those layers aren't perfect. There's unconformities. So if I were to come in, now this is over geologic time. This is over very long periods of time, not like what we're going to do right here in a series of a couple minutes. So I'm coming in, and this is my erosion utensil. We're going to come in and erode this yellow right here, and we're breaking it down. And then once that's eroded, we come in with another layer of sediments and lay it on top. Now this is a disconformity. When there's a breakup, or there's erosion, something happens, so it's not a perfect timeline of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. It's going to be like 1 year, 2 year erosion, 3 year. You're not going to find that 2 year sediment because it's been eroded. That's a disconformity. Next we're going to have a nonconformity. Nonconformity is when a different kind of layer, let's say a metamorphic layer or an igneous layer. Igneous is a lava stream. A metamorphic would be if we were underground and there's pressure and heat. Not quite melted, but just enough to kind of create some gems, stuff like that. That's where you're going to find the metamorphic. So we have this igneous layer right here. It's going to be our white layer. We're going to lay it down right here. And that's coming through. And let's say it goes right through that blue layer right here. I'm going to move this so we can see a little bit better. So now we have a disconformity from the yellow to the blue, and then this white layer is our igneous coming through, and that is our nonconformity. Now this is a fun one, angular disconformity. So angular unconformity. That angular unconformity is when, say, an earthquake happens, think of the San Andreas fault, something like that, when the movement of the earth suddenly tilted. So now, boom, we're tilted. Now we have more layers coming at you, but they're going to fill in from the bottom, just like you'd put it in a soup in a bowl. It's going to go to the very bottom. All of a sudden, it's right here. All these layers are building up, but they're building up non-parallel right here. So we're building. It's coming in crooked right here. So these different layers are what we're going to see. Sometimes if you look at the Grand Canyon, you can see layers like this. Let's go for another color, maybe our dark blue. And these are coming through just like that.
It's Ratatouille.
Exactly. So just like that. Now imagine that this is laid over millions of years over time as these sediments are deposited and then pressurized and created to become actual rock. So again, we have that disconformity, a nonconformity, and an angular unconformity. Disconformity is when that erosion came in, kind of knocked down a layer. That nonconformity is when another like igneous layer or a metamorphic layer is sandwiched in between some layers. And an angular unconformity is when that plate shifts sideways and then starts stacking non-parallel. So now that I've done a little version, we're going to do one together. Sound good?
Sure.
Cool, so grab your bucket. Alright, get you some colors. Alright, I'm going to switch sides. Very nice, this is a multiple-sided box. So what do you want to start with first? What kind of unconformity?
Dis.
Let's start with the disconformity. So I'm going to use pink. Grab whatever color you want.
Going with yellow first.
Alright, so I have that first layer. And this layer is going to be our oldest layer. Since it's on the bottom, it was deposited the oldest, the longest time ago. I'm going to put in some of this dark blue. So while we're kind of doing this, I want to talk about some fossils with you. So a lot of fossils can be different. There's different kinds of fossils. We've got trace fossils. What we're kind of talking about here is very often going to be like a body fossil, maybe an imprint fossil. Depends on the layers, depends on the situation, what kind of pressure was added. All right, we're going to come with our erosion. Are you ready? All right, I'm coming in. We're eroding, we're breaking down that second layer. Woo! Take your time, take your time. You don't have to push it too hard. Just kind of lay it on top of each other.
This is my erosion tool?
Yeah, that's your erosion tool. Good. Making it kind of rough. Good, that'll be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stacking another layer on top of this. Now, there are certain things in these layers that are going to be super funky. If you look up different things online, you're going to see some cool things. There are some layers that can actually be tilted so much that they're upside down. Now that is going to be a little bit harder for us to figure out the oldest and the youngest. But again, we can look at those relative fossil dating. We can look at different things that have been found. Good, that's good. It's got more layers. Do you want to go for an angular or do you want to go for a non-conformity?
Angular.
Cool, let's go for an angular. Boom, our plate is shifted. Big earthquake. Whoa. So we're coming in. I'm going to hold it sideways and just kind of stack it up on the side now. So what's your favorite kind of fossil?
Saber-toothed tiger.
Saber-toothed tiger. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
My favorite fossil is coprolite. Do you know what coprolite is?
It's, no.
You don't? So coprolite is actually fossilized dinosaur poop. You can look at it and you can see what type of...
That's our cat.
That's our cat. That's a... Coprolite is dinosaur poop. You can look at it and actually see what kind of food dinosaurs used to eat just by looking at different sediments and different things in the poop. It's kind of cool.
That tilt did a lot for it.
You're doing pretty good. I really like it.
So that's an angular conformity?
So this is an angular unconformity. Unconformity. These are all different types of unconformities.
This one. So what's another one we can do besides
We
angular?
have angular, the first one we did was dis, and now we're going to do a non-conformity. So to kind of show you, we have these layers going on. Let's show yours. Sweet. So yeah, this was the first one. Here's our next one. So that non-conformity is when a layer of igneous kind of rushes through. Let's say we have an earthquake all of a sudden. Oh my god. Don't tell the Greeks. Haha. That joke too soon.
Truly.
And again, we're still crooked, so they're still laying them non-parallel to the original ones. But yeah, we got an igneous illustration coming through here. I just like using white. But it can really be any color you
And
want
that's
in the
coming from the
situation.
side?
Well, it's still crooked like that.
Gotcha. Oh, it's just
Earth
crooked,
is still
crooked.
like that.
Gotcha. So it's just bent away a little bit.
Yeah.
Am I doing it on the same one we were doing before?
Yeah. Keep it going.
Okay. So it's going to be bent a little bit.
Yeah. So just mentally know this is not a sedimentary layout. It's not just sediments that have been kind of pressurized via layer. This is like magma or something like that, maybe coming up from the center of the earth. Anything like that could be just a lava formation coming in that is non-conforming to the situation. Cool.
So we got the original sediments, the
Yeah.
ones from when the earthquake hit and it kind of tilted it. And then this one is, what would cause this to happen again?
A like igneous like lava or magma coming
Okay.
in or changing it. Let's say this got shifted, the earth heated up, and some pressure, more pressure got added on. And all of a sudden pressurized, we might get some gems or anything like that. So that's gonna be just a different kind of layer. Either yeah. So cool. Let's show yours. So we got those layers going on. This is what I got going on. I like your colors. Cool. So I'm gonna set mine down, and we're just gonna go over yours, and let's see if you can explain yours to me. You can either take it out or just use another side.
I'm going to do an angular disconformity.
Okay. So what would happen for an angular disconformity to happen?
Well, angular would be any sort of disaster.
Could be a disaster. Yeah.
Yeah, and it could be shifting the crust, or be the crust, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, be shifting the crust. So I'm gonna have like a few just base layers first before I shift it, that way we can get some detail to it real
Nice.
fast. Okay, so we got the 2 layers, and then bam, it shifts this way.
Nice. So again, I'm going to kind of go over index fossils because that's one of the big things. So let's say a trilobite, which is a very popular index fossil, is found during the Eocene, maybe Paleocene. They're actually much older than that. But if we were to find a trilobite fossil, we can easily say, hey, this sediment is from this period of time to this period of time. Yeah, that's an angular conformity. What else do you want to do after this one?
I'm not quite sure.
Do you want to do a disconformity or a non-conformity?
Non-conformity.
Non-conformity.
That one's wild. So
Yeah.
we'll have lava that comes through here,
You can almost just like
breaks it apart.
push it through. It doesn't have to be
Oh, just-
it does not have to be parallel to the surface. It could come in from the side, anything like that.
Push
Very
through
often
like
those are
that.
very weird looking. Those are what kind of give paleontologist struggles.
So can there be like multiple things pushing it through?
Sure.
Heck yeah. Damn.
Yeah, get that magma in there. So difference between lava and magma, magma is under the crust and lava is outside the crust. That's really the only difference. They're both molten rock, pretty much.
Got it broken apart a little bit and then pushed in another part.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
perfect. It's a very good demonstration of different layers, different things are happening. So, awesome. Let's do a disconformity.
And that was the last one. What exactly is that like?
So that is when that erosion came. I'll give you some pink. That's when we erode a layer down.
That's right.
Often very confusing because it's been eroded. It's no longer there, so there's nothing for a paleontologist to really figure out from it. So you have to kind of learn something from nothing very often in those aspects.
And I'll be pushing that one down, right?
Yeah, so you
And then-
kind of crunch that up, kind of cut it down. You could almost just remove a layer.
Yeah, we'll pull off a little bit to make it a little bit more.
Yeah.
There we go. And what, it'd be just stacking normal layers over this one?
Yeah, so
Just remove
erosion
bits left?
happens,
Yeah.
and then let's say a rock slide happens and we pour sediment on top of that. Another small thing, if you have a large rock that is inside of maybe a finer sediment, that rock is going to be younger than the sediment that it's in. Yeah.
So the yellow one there is the one that eroded. See, it ripped apart.
Yeah, perfect.
Here you go. You guys can see it too.
So we can see all of those unconformities. Awesome. So again, we went over disconformity, nonconformity, and angular unconformity. And using these, scientists and paleontologists can kind of date fossils, date the layers, and kind of figure out what happened. But why is this important? So this is actually very important. There's something that we like to say, it's called the past is the key to the future. If we learn about the past, we can figure out what's going to happen in the future. We can help our future scientists kind of figure out what's going to happen. And we can also look at areas that are more prone to earthquakes by looking at the sediments that are already there. If we're seeing a lot of angular unconformities, if we're seeing a lot of disconformities and unconformities and nonconformities, we can say, okay, this is a very active area. This could continue to be active. It might still be active. So we can kind of look and kind of see the dangers of the area and all stuff like that. So cool. Good work. Thank you for helping me out. So, yeah. Signing out.